Yeah, we are live now.
Yeah. So, good afternoon, everybody. Those are watching our program from which is organized by Gopio Myanmar with the help of our Gopio Business Councils, and which is having different offices in different country. And today we will going to talk about the impact of digitalization on health sectors. So one impact of digitalizations, we can see that I'm sitting in Myanmar, one speaker sitting in Bangalore, one speaker sitting in Nairobi, and speaker sitting in Delhi, and one speaker sitting in Chennai. So that is a one advantage. Now we can do meetings, nobody need to travel, so that is the one advantage. So today our first speaker is going to be a Dr. Anup Das, and he is a Indian, but currently from last so many years he is living in Nairobi. He has been in pharma, hospital business, and lot of thing he is doing for health sector. So now I would like to welcome Dr. Anup Das to his uh, please do your presentation or whatever you want to say today topic. Welcome,
Yeah. Thank you, Ravindra.
Dr. Anup Das.
Yeah, thank you, Ravindra. Good afternoon, everyone in the platform. And thank you for this interesting opportunity, uh, the Gopio International Business Council. And I understand this is being moderated from Myanmar by Ravindra. So let's understand the impact of digitalization on the healthcare industry. That's the topic for today, and very interesting to see that we have got fellow speakers from the healthcare industry and who are also somehow or rather connected digitally through their various practices. I would just like to highlight some of the recent phenomenon which has been happening, in various parts of the world, and especially in a developing economy like the countries in Africa and all that, how it is impacting. So because what differentiates globally, uh, uh, as far as healthcare is concerned, is number one is definitely the infrastructure requirement uh, for healthcare service delivery. That is one of the most important aspect of the healthcare industry, because you need the right infrastructure and the right quality infrastructure to be available all over the world to access healthcare. But then the second part, which is there, is the service providers in terms of the human resources, in terms of the technical people, the clinical people, and the coordination in between and all that. Now, with the impact and the development of technology,
Sorry to interrupt. I think on live, you are there on the screen actually, Mr. Ravindra. So if you can put Doctor,
Yeah, I'm doing.
yeah, please,
Yeah,
because I'm seeing on live,
shifting.
you were there. Yeah, can you please put him on the
Yeah,
spotlight? Yeah.
yes.
so are we ready? Please let me
Sorry,
know.
the internet speed is so slow
No,
suddenly.
I would, Mr. Ravindra, I would suggest that Dr. Anup continue talking because we can see him as it is. Even if you can't put him on the spotlight, it's fine. Let him continue.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
please go
Sure.
ahead.
The point I was trying to make is with the impact of
Dr.
digitization, what is
Anu,
happening.
please continue. Till that time, I will bring you on slide. On
Yeah, he's already continuing.
Yeah, that's okay. That's absolutely fine. So, what digitization has done, you have your healthcare infrastructure, and this is depending on the country you are operating. Whether you are in a developing
hello.
country or you're in a developed country. Ravindra, we are fine. Actually, we are online, and uh, people can. I'm sure people can
Yeah,
listen to us.
very well,
Only
very well.
thing, yeah. Only thing is maybe the internet connectivity at Myanmar is not that great, so maybe that's why the technical
He's
issues.
got a
But I
lag
think
there.
we can, yeah, we can
Yeah.
continue with our discussion, I think. So, so what's happening is, so the gap between the infrastructure service
Dr.
delivery,
Anup,
ha-
please continue.
Okay.
yes,
Ravindra, uh,
Hmm.
he's talking and it's very clear. The internet is slow only from your side. So he's been
Okay.
talking. Okay, so
Okay.
he's already started his talk.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, please.
so I was trying to explain that how digitization has reduced the gap between infrastructure and service delivery as far as healthcare is concerned. And I will give you some examples of what we have been able to successfully do with the help of technology and digitization in African countries. From a perspective from outside, it is always seen that Africa is an underdeveloped continent, and people see Africa in different ways. It's still a lot of things needs to be done and all that. Yeah, that's fine. But few things which I wanted to tell you, that how it has been a very interesting journey for few countries in Africa, how they have been able to I would say bring up to a standard in with the help of technology and digitization. A lot of things are happening, of course, primarily through the e-commerce platforms, which are doing very well in countries like India and various countries in Southeast Asia as well. And definitely the developed world it has already evolved. But we have been able to successfully do few things, and I would like to tell you one by one. Uh, so in the hospital sector or the healthcare service delivery sector, uh, first, we have seen that how teleradiology, a simple teleradiology solution, has transformed the diagnosis in radiology services. So that is the first, simple impact which has happened in this part of the world as well, and of course across all over the world. That a radiologist doesn't need to be physically present in any particular radiology unit, and all the reporting can be done online because the images are being shared through the internet. So that has been a very interesting a possibility, and it has been doing extremely well. Similarly, we are now trying to launch telepathology. So through the help of electron microscopes and all that, we have been able to transfer images to pathologists sitting all over the world, and we have been able to start getting reports online for telepathology. So that has really helped transform the diagnostics in the healthcare industry. We recently launched a very interesting platform of telecardiology. I would like to explain this, and this has been developed by Make in India concept, a company which is registered in Singapore and headquartered themselves out of Bangalore. It's called Tricog. I'm not sure whether you've heard about Tricog. So Tricog, what Tricog does, it provides uh, telecardiology. So you have ECGs, electrocardiograms, and echoes, electrocardiography. So what happens is, normally the interpretation of reports for any ECG or echo is done by a cardiologist. But in far-fetched geographies, and especially like in Africa or like in Kenya, we have very few cardiologists, hardly, very few in number. So to find a cardiologist to interpret a report is a very difficult proposition. So now what Tricog has done is were able to introduce few interesting technology tools by which you are able to do ECGs anywhere in the world in far remote areas, and you just transfer the images through simple technology over the internet, and the reporting is done by a cardiologist within 6 minutes. So you can understand that how it has impacted the lives of people and how we are able to save lives of people. So that is the impact of telecardiology. So digital ECG reporting is done in 6 minutes. They've introduced echocardiography, which is reporting is done in half an hour, because that's a technology where you need to take different kind of images through a certain equipment, and you need a technician to do the imaging. But again, the reporting has to be done by a cardiologist. So that's how they have been able to successfully launch it, and the reporting is done by cardiologists from anywhere in the world in within 30 minutes. So that has completely transformed the diagnostics in cardiology. So that's how it is impacted in the there is a direct impact in the hospital industry. Then I would like to also introduce the concept of how we have been able to do online, I would say, apart from diagnostics, online clinical reviews. And during COVID, this has so happened that uh, in fact, we were working on it with one of our partners from, again, in a Make in India concept. It's called a company called Clinivantage, and they have been able to launch a platform called Clinic, CLINIQ. And they launched it actually before COVID in 2019. And what they were doing is that uh, you are able to actually review a patient over the internet through either WhatsApp call or a Skype call or any kind of video conferencing call, and you're able to review the patient. And you can also introduce certain IoT devices. So there are various interesting diagnostic tools which are available, which can be integrated into the Internet of Things platform. So simple diagnostics tools. There are small equipments which are available. They can do 25 different kind of parameters for you. So what you do is you just introduce those tools, you give it to the patient, and they just connect in with the cables and all that, and you're able to read and diagnose at least 25 different parameters. And then the doctor on the other side is able to immediately give you a prescription and able to diagnose. And if it is not an emergency, the patient is treated at home. So what happens is the doctor gives a prescription, the drugs are delivered to the patient's home, and if there are some other advanced tests which are required, a lab technologist is sent to home. They collect the blood samples, and the test is again reports are shared through the internet platform, through emails and other services. And the patient is able to get the treatment at the right time, the diagnosis at the right time. And if it is not an emergency, other things also can be done at home. Like, for example, we are able to send a nurse at home to deliver certain services. We are able to send a physiotherapist at home to get the exercises done. So everything is done at home, and the patient doesn't have to move to the hospital if it is not an emergency. So these are the things which where now are in practical terms are happening, and in this part of the world as well, as I'm talking about. So this is one part of the diagnostics and direct impact on the patient. Let me tell you from a user's perspective. As a hospital also, there are so many technologies which we are using, which is actually helping us. For example, we have got very advanced hospital information management systems nowadays available, which is interconnected with your all your basic equipment, which are through the IoT platform. And your access and your reporting and your real-time information has become so much available because of introduction of this advanced HMIS solutions. And linked to that is something which is like patient feedback mechanisms. So now you have got tools which are developed. Like, we work with a company based in UK called SWS, which provides online feedback. So the moment you provide a service, you can ask for a feedback from a patient, that how was the service with your various questionnaires and all that. And they are able to give a review about your service, your service delivery, and the review is straight away goes to your Google Google thing, and you can see the review, real time review happening. So this is something very interesting which has come. So all the positive reviews and all that, you can look at it there. If there are any negative reviews, you're immediately able to handle that as well. So these are some of the advantages of moving towards digitalization. Now what we are working on is something like how we are taking the help of digitization in managing chronic disease patients. So we are right now launching something called CDM, chronic disease management. So we are using a lot of these tools of which are available for our chronic patients as well, patients suffering from diabetes, hypertension, mental health issues, simple issues like skin eczema and all that. So we have created certain groups of patients, and we are able to deliver solutions through our digital platform for chronic disease patients. And ultimately these are all linked to something very interesting, which is, we call them now e-passport. So all your medical records and everything is now available online, so you don't have to move with those hard copies of MRI and CT scan reports and all that. Everything is now available online. So we've been able to launch this platform called medical passport, where we give the access to the patients to review their reports from anywhere in the world through the internet. So that is something which has been possible. And this is all now linked to something which Ravindra is doing sitting in Myanmar, which is called medical tourism. So now we have introduced e-tourism. So we are not only talking about regional medical tourism, which is like patients coming from the region in like, for example, there are a lot of patients of East Africa who come to Kenya in Nairobi to access treatment. And then there are a lot of patients who go to India, because India has become the healthcare capital of the world by virtue of the healthcare infrastructure, service delivery, quality, pricing, and of course, is the pharmaceutical capital of the world. So how these are all linked to that e-tourism platform. So a lot of interesting things are happening in the healthcare space, and I can continue talking like this with a lot of energy if you give me such time. But I understand I have got a time limit of 10 minutes, but I think I've already overspoken. So if there are any questions, I'll be happy to take, but thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Anup, for your such a nice talk, and you are doing incredibly job in sitting in Nairobi, and it is going to change how this healthcare system in next few years once this 5G start working, because then things is going to change much more faster. Like Dr. Natesh can sitting in there, and then the people that junior doctors or like GP can do almost lot of surgery while people sitting. So it is going to change a lot. Now I can see another Anup sir slides is there. So I will request to Anup sir to speak, and now I will add his slide. So welcome to Anup sir for your remarks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
I'm adding.
Okay, so
Yeah.
thank you, Dr. Anup, for that very informative talk. I really appreciate the kind of services that you're doing all the way in a place like Nairobi, and the kind of benefit it offers to patients in remote areas, as well as to physicians in helping their reports get interpreted. This is really great use. So I thought I will have some fun with you and to understand that how digitally savvy you are. So if you can keep the slides on, Ravindra, I will continue with
Yeah,
it.
I'm
So
just doing. Yeah, it is coming.
okay, so
Can you see now?
yes, I can see. I can see. Thank you. So I would request all of you who are watching this program to take your pen and paper so that it becomes a digital plus physical, or rather phygital,
Digital. Yeah.
which we are all used to in some way or the other. So the idea is to just know for yourself whether you're a digital onlooker, whether you're digitally aware, you're digital utilitarian, or if you are a digital expert. So here goes the first slide. Um, so, what is your go-to app when you want a quick meal? That's here in India. We have apps like Swiggy, Zomato, Domino's, and Dunzo. Or if you are not using any one of this, then tick none. The more you tick, the better it is, because it's not restricted to one app. If you are using all four, you can tick all four. If you're using only one of them, you can tick one of them. So whether you are using any app when you feel hungry. So this is to know what you do digitally when you are hungry. And the food comes physically. That's what I was talking about, digital and physical, phygital. So the next question is that when it's time to dust off their suitcase, what travel sites do you visit before a trip? Now I use only one. I use only Make My Trip. There's a business account on that that gives me great discounts and does my check-in automatically. So I prefer to use Make My Trip. But if you are using one or more of this, go and write which one you are using, or just give it a number as to 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever it is, which we will add up in the end. All right. Okay, here's the next slide. Time to browse the net for just 10 minutes. Which browser do you prefer? Just now, Google Chrome, Ravindra mentioned, that's what I use most of the time. And sometimes, maybe because I'm on a Mac, I will use a Safari. But whatever you are using, write it down. And if you are using more than one, write down as 2 or more against this question. All right. The next one is, which is your go-to driving choice? So if I'm in Bangalore, I use Ola. If I go to Bombay, I will use Uber. And sometimes when I want to drive somebody else's car, then I go for Zoom car. So which one do you use? One or more? Simple questions. It's been a long day in the city. What app do you use to book your accommodation? Now, everything we do on our phone. Now, again, which one do you use? Now, when it comes to booking my room, I don't use Make My Trip. I use more of Airbnb because it gives you a wide selection of rooms at a wide selection of rates across the place where you are using. And it has really caught up in India also. Okay, the next. What are some of the gadgets you are using? Smartphone, tablet, Amazon, Alexa, Kindle, none. It could be only one or more than one. Write down which ones you are using. I use nowadays Alexa to wake me up. I have no secretary now. Alexa is my secretary. It sets up my appointments, right? Leave that wallet at home. You don't need to carry your purse anymore. All you need to carry is your mobile phone. Which digital wallet do you use? Whether it's Google Pay or GPay, Amazon Pay, Phone Pay, Paytm, one or more, or none of them. You're not feeling well today. Do you use any of the following sites to avoid a trip to the pharmacy? Right? We would prefer to have the medicine come home, and now many of them, I use NetMeds. I get the same medicines by within 3 hours from the nearest pharmacy to me. So which one you prefer to use when you use more than one of them? Which one do you use to get your medicines? All right, it's time to unwind. So a plethora of OTT are available now. Netflix, Disney Plus, Hotstar, Amazon Prime Video, or Sony Live. I use Netflix, Disney, and Prime Video. What about you? Go ahead and write the number that you use, one or more. Okay, the last 2 years, most people have been locked inside their house, but they have been studying for learning something. So which of these platforms have you used? Udemy, Coursera, Skillshare, Udacity, or none of them? And there are plenty of even CME programs available online. There are programs on programming itself available. So which one have you used? And finally, the most important, what social media do you use for your professional growth? LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, a combination of them, or none of them? Done? Okay. Now here's the score. If your score is less than 5, you're a digital onlooker. If your score is 5 to 10, you're digitally aware. If your score is 10 to 20, you're a digital utilitarian. If you're 20 plus, then you're a digital expert. Now, the point of putting this fun quiz is to make you understand that it's not just digital in healthcare. Healthcare is a very small part of digital. The whole world is getting digitalized. Whether it is the payment gateways, we don't go to our bank anymore. It's more than 5 years since I visited my bank branch, and my manager doesn't come and call me and says, why are you not visiting my branch? In fact, when I go there, he says, why do you come here? Everything is available on the net. Do you have any problem accessing it? And after demonetization, I have stopped going to the ATM as well. So what I'm trying to tell is that globally, every consumer in one way or the other is using digital. So digital in healthcare is just a small part, but a necessary part. When I a couple of years back, I thought that driving in Bangalore was a big problem because you can't find a parking place, and drivers keep changing. The attrition rate is very high. So I stopped using my car and I use either a combination of Ola or Uber. So I am used to digital in one way or the other in my life. So why not digital in healthcare? That's the question I want to bring before you. If all these industries that I just made you take a quiz about have all become multi-billion dollar companies, ultimately the proof of the pudding is, does it make money? And all the companies that I have shown you have all become what we call as unicorns or billion dollar companies. In fact, India has the highest number of unicorns in the last 2 years, 28 unicorns from India. And that includes the latest entrant, Pharmeasy, or whichever one you are looking at it. The dynamics are changing. So healthcare has really no option but to go digital because it breaks down many barriers to conventional business. As Dr. Anup Das so wonderfully explained, that he can sit in Nairobi and treat a patient in Bangalore or vice versa. And these are all monetizable. And it doesn't make you fixed to an office time. If you say that I'm available for emergency 24/7, the digital algorithms will search when somebody is in an emergency and direct that person straight to you, and you can take your call and help that person in emergency. So the applications are unlimited. All other industries have adopted digital in a very big way. The banks are at the front runners, and healthcare, as usual, though it is very high tech when it comes to the field of diagnostics and devices, we probably are the highest in adopting technology. If you look at a hospital today and look at a hospital 20 years back, except for that bedpan, I don't think you will find anything that was there in the hospital room 20 years back is there in today's hospital room. So it is very nice that Ravindra, sitting all the way in Myanmar with low electricity and low digital, is high on enthusiasm about digital, because this is where the future is going to be. Thank you, Ravindra, for giving me this opportunity. I look forward to visiting Myanmar
Yeah.
and really using entrepreneurs like you, because what the world needs is not just ideas, but the people who have the ability to translate ideas into commerce. And Ravindra is one of them. I've been a close friend with him for more than close to 10 years now. He's been asking me to come to Myanmar. So I look forward to coming. Great show, Ravindra. Thank you very much. And over to the other audience.
Thank you, Anup sir, for your nice word. And I would like to welcome everybody to come to Myanmar. It's a beautiful country full of natures, have some political issue currently, but still life has going very well. In last week, 4 days, I have attended one Marwadi family marriage, which was luxurious, and have a 5-star, 3 5-star hotel has been booked, and 500 people have attended that. So life is going on. Now I would like to welcome Dr. Satish Gupta, and who is a doctor, as well as nowadays he is doing a lot of marketing and lot of teachings for the pharmaceutical executives. So welcome, Dr. Satish Gupta. Now is your time.
Yeah, thank you,
I'm
Mr.
having your
Ravindra.
slide.
Yeah, thank you. It's there. Okay, so thank you to Anup sir and Dr. Anup. for wonderful insights. And when the topic was given, I was thinking ki what to present, because most of the thing will be presented. I would be last to present. And I thought, why is the slide visible? Is it
Yes,
coming
yes, slide
fine?
is
Yes,
visible.
yes.
Because I think it is not coming proper. Like the some words are text are not being shown and some are being shown.
No, it's clear, Dr.
No,
Satish. You can just
Is it
push
so?
it forward
Okay,
and go
fine.
ahead. Yeah.
Okay, fine. So I thought, let me go to the very, very basic thing that was, taught in the college days when we were in the medical college, and then in the MBA, healthcare MBA, and just try to put that perspective ki why digital is taking over the world in healthcare case also. As Anup sir said that everyone is using digital, and it is being so successful. Also the same thing is being followed in the healthcare industry. Digital is really hitting the right nail, but we need to understand why. So I tried to find that why it is happening, and would like to connect the dots ki how digital is putting the right steps to enter into the healthcare industry. So uh, so on the very next slide, you will see that these are the healthcare issues which since ages they have been there and they will continue to be there, especially in the developing countries or Asian countries. You will see that these are the typical four things which are there. The first one is regarding the availability. So availability of doctors or healthcare delivery networks, there has been always a shortage. That is a well defined fact from the world bank data. You can see only one doctor per thousand of the population. So the scenario is really we can't say that it is good, and there is a good scope of improvement. Then the second thing is, even if the doctor is available, the accessibility part is missing. Accessibility, because most of the population is living in the rural areas or hilly terrains, or maybe even if they are in the town, even then the travel is a big issue there, which objects the basic concern of reaching to a doctor. So this has been a problem. And while the where the per capita income is low, on the lower side, traveling from one place to another is also costing money, and that puts a lot of pressure on the pocket, right? The third basic issue in the healthcare is the affordability part. So if even the availability of doctor is there, and the doctor is accessible or the hospital is accessible, there will be always a problem of affordability. So, since the per capita income is lower, on the lower side, and also the out of pocket expenditure, if you see for India only, it is going 54%. So much money you have to spend from your pocket to get a healthcare services for you, for yourself, for your near and dear ones. So affordability is an issue. And the last one is the daily. Daily is basically disability adjusted life years. So you can understand daily is something like when you are sick, you can't go and work in the office, or whatever work you are doing, you can't do it. And due to this, what happens that there are number of days will be there where you will not be able to go and work, and this leads to the economic loss to the country. Any country, there'll be loss. So if you have healthier people in the community, or the workers are healthier, then there will be a direct impact on the GDP. So there were well researched papers on that. It usually happens. Now, after talking these basic healthcare issues that has been there since ages or decades, let us move on to the digital, and let us see the basic DNA of the digital. Why DNA? What are the elements of DNA which makes it so interesting? So the first one is speeds. The digital has good speed. It travels really fast. In the morning you will receive one WhatsApp message, by the evening it travels to crores of people, and then again it lands into your mobile. So that is the speed of digital. Because of this speed, digital is well accepted. The second important element is its reach to masses. So digital has that power that in within minutes you can reach to masses. Like for example, going live here, and we go throughout the world. So people can join as per their choice. But yes, there is a capacity of digital that the reach is unlimited. There is no limit on that, right? And the third thing is power to choose. So power to choose means that it has decentralized the system. So earlier the systems were centralized. The information was in the hand of few people. Whatever they wanted to tell people, that was being told. But now internet has made everything open. You will find every type of product or service on the internet. Just search on Google, you will find lakhs of pages for that particular service. So it has given people, while sitting at my home, I have the power to choose what I want to choose. It is no more restricted. And the last but not the least, the influencing behavior. So internet or digital is so powerful that it can influence the behavior of people. We have seen that political parties winning the elections on the basis of the marketing they do on the digital thing, right? Even there can be, it has been used everywhere to influence people's behavior, right? So these are the basic elements of digital which makes it so interesting. And at the end of the presentation, I would like to show you how to how these particular elements are providing solution to that those problems of healthcare. So just wanted to explain, for example, in today's scenario, how a patient will go ahead and will take the his treatment, right? So I have taken one example is that one person is having a fever. He is at home only, there is no one to help. So what the person will do, he will open the teleconsultation app. Some of the a lot of apps are available. He will open the app, immediately book the consultation. There is always slot available, whether it is emergency consultation or a normal consultation. He will immediately book the consultation, doctor comes live, both doctor and patient interact, and immediately prescription is provided. And there is another option that the patient will directly order the medicine from that app or a connected app. On that particular app, diagnostic test can be booked, and the reports can be dispatched online only. So this is happening really really fast. So of course you will say that how the medicine can be delivered so fast. So in coming time, what will happen, if we have 10-minute delivery option for the big basket or these apps are doing, again medicine delivery will be there. It will be so fast. People like the phlebotomist will reach the person's house within 10 minutes or 20 minutes, right? So this will happen. So reports dispatched online, and treatment history, the best part is this, all whatever is happening this online is being recorded into e medical records. So EMR or e health records that we say, this is being recorded there, right? So this happens, and the patient takes the immediate treatment even when no one is there to support the patient. And let us see what happens next. Now patient has taken the medicine, but he is having some relief, not completely fine. So he says, okay, let me go to the doctor and physically visit the clinic. Now what happens after that? Patient will go to the doctor's clinic. Doctor will immediately enter his health ID. From that app, he will get all the health records, whatever he has done earlier or whatever the other doctor has done, and then he diagnoses the problem and immediately gives a digital prescription. This digital prescription will have the test and the medicines. And now the patient has got both the options, whether he want to buy it from the nearby from the clinic or outside pharmacy, or online also. So in this case, the patient, what he will do, he will go to the pharmacy in the nearby clinic, and there he will buy the medicine as well as the diagnostic test he will do from a nearby pathology lab. Okay. After that, there are few follow-up consultations. He will start taking medicines, but the follow-up consultations will be totally online. The teleconsultation, and after two follow-up consultation, the patient is fine. But during complete process, what has happened? Doctor has noticed that patient is having higher BP, and the weight is also on the higher side. So he will prescribe one wellness app or digital therapeutics app, which the patient can use and can track his BP and weight, right? So all the data is being collected. Now what will happen? Now the doctor can now access all the patient treatment history at the click of a button whenever the patient calls him or connects with him next time. And the wellness app data will also keep on collecting the various data points, and will show in the form of beautiful graphs and decision making charts, so that doctor can immediately take decision on the basis of those data points. So what I wanted to emphasize that this hybrid model is quickly picking up. So sometimes a patient will require to go to the for a physical visit to the clinic or a hospital, and along with that, most of the time he can or she can take the consultation online only. So when the patient is doing so, he will save a lot of money because there is no travel. Also the doctor will be in peace of mind because there are online appointments, he knows what to do today. So a lot of benefits are coming in this hybrid model. Now now that was the part, but what is the upcoming part is the metaverse. In future we may see that metaverse is going to take, but within 1 year or so it may be a big reality as soon as the companies come up very strongly in this. And the healthcare treatment may go in metaverse. So whatever things are happening virtually, it may totally get transformed into metaverse. And the treatment patient will be meeting doctor, there will be hospitals online. A patient is visiting the hospital in his digital avatar and taking treatment and a lot of things. There is a lot of opportunities that are there in metaverse that is going to come for sure, right? So so in the conclusion slide, I wanted to show that digital is putting a positive impact on that healthcare industry, and this hybrid model is going to work very well, right? And you can see here that in the availability issue of the healthcare, the speed thing comes of the digital. So digital has got that element of speed that I was talking earlier. So it gives a solution to the availability part, because at the click of the button very fast the patient can connect to the doctor. And also when it is the era of 4G. When the 5G comes, then immense opportunities will open. The connectivity will never be an issue at that time. Then the second thing is accessibility. So you can't go to the doctor, okay, that's okay, the doctor will come to your home. How? Through the app, through an software, right? So in this way reach to masses. So a very famous doctor sitting in Mumbai can treat someone who is sitting in a very far from area in maybe I can say in Haryana, a village of Haryana or UP. He can treat those patients. So these opportunities are opening up. Similarly, the affordability part. So in the affordability part, again, it is going to give you lot of options. So it will also give you option as per the socio-economic factors, political factor, geolocation factor. So considering all those things, there will be always an opportunity available for the patients to reach to the right doctor due to immense opportunity of those slots, right? And the last one, the wellness apps and all these things are actually putting the health of patient in their hands. So people are becoming more and more aware. They are wearing digital gadgets, they are walking their, they are measuring their steps, they are measuring their sugar, BP, everything. And once people become very aware, especially the millennial generation is becoming adapting it very fast. So once they become very much aware about this particular thing, they will become in charge of their health, and slowly and gradually the healthcare system will become very strong, because people will take care of their health, and hence there will be direct impact on the GDP, because less people will fall ill, and they will be going for their work, right? So that's all from my side. Wishing you a good health and digital health. Thank you. Over to you, Mr. Ravindra. Mr. Ravindra, your voice is not there, I think.
We can't hear you.
Yeah, I can't hear you.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Gupta, for your nice presentation. And I'm trying to put the slide of Dr. Natesh. Till that time, I have a one question to Dr. Anup Das. How do you comply with privacy and medical counsel and MOH? What you have done, you are going to do digitally.
So, very interesting question, because the Ministry of Health in each country it's different, and uh, looking at their way of working. So, you know, the saddest part is, they are the last ones to comply or come out with once everything is done. We are the ones who are trying to basically educate them that these things are now available in the platform, and this is how we can make life easy for in so many ways. So it's a continuous, I would say, continuous communication and struggle with the various Ministry of Health. Like for example, I'll give you an example. We recently launched an healthcare aggregator platform called Ponia Health. Now, what was happening is there was nothing very clearly defined as per the Ministry of Health guidelines that what kind of operations can be done through a digital platform. Now, so we had to educate them at length, and then we had to come out. We had to agree on a hybrid platform where they said, no, you cannot do everything online. You have to still have certain hubs, healthcare hubs. So now what we have to do is for you to take licenses from the Ministry of Health. Now they have their very set rules that healthcare means you need to have a physical infrastructure, you need to have qualified, people working there. So everything is very well defined, which is there for last 50, 60 years. So they still would like us to follow that. But at the same time, we are saying that this healthcare can be delivered through different channels and different means, and digital transformation is actually making it more accessible. So how do we do it? So we had to now go with a hybrid formula where we created certain physical infrastructure and healthcare hubs, where we created clinics, we created lab, we created some pharmacy and all that. At the same time, so that we get the necessary licenses to operate as a healthcare operator, and at the same time provide our services through the digital platform. So your question is, I would say it is still an evolving matter, and we have to continuously communicate and interact with the Ministry of Health to make our things more easy for the benefit of common people.
Okay, now I would request Dr. Natesh from the Lifeline Hospital, and he is dealing day-to-day hospital because he is a CEO of Lifeline Group of Hospitals, so dealing a lot of digitalization for pharmacy, also pharma industry, product, how to manage and how patient manage. So welcome, Dr. Natesh,
Thank you so
please do
much,
your
Ravindra.
presentation. Till that time, I put your slide because I'm not able to download there. So you start simultaneously. I will try to put that
Sure.
slides.
Wonderful, wonderful. First of all, thank you, Ravindra, for inviting me, and also Dr. Anup from the healthcare industry, Dr. Anup from the pharma industry, and Dr. Satish Gupta. Wonderful presentations to all of you. It's been a pleasure listening. So I want to tell Dr. Anup Das that it's so uncanny that our journeys have been similar, because most of what I want to talk you've already said. So, but I'm just going to add something from my own journey to share and add to what you've said. So you spoke about teleradiology and telepathology, Dr. Anup. These are two things that we are doing for the Santiniketan Medical College at Bolpur in West Bengal. So we have a tie-up, Lifeline Multi. Our group has been handed over the management of that particular college and the hospital, and we have already set up the teleradiology and telepathology for them. But in addition to that, I just want to add one more thing to what we are doing there. We are doing what is called a VICU, which is a virtual ICU. They have a 75-bed ICU, which is completely managed by intensivists sitting in Chennai. There are only two registrars in that 75-bed ICU. Everything else, right? We have five intensivists sitting in Chennai managing that entire ICU. So our intensivists in Chennai sit in office building. They have huge 2 feet wide monitors, and every equipment in that ICU, including a syringe pumps, including a ventilators, everything is controlled by our intensivist sitting in Chennai. So that is one more step we have gone. And one of our associate companies, I'm very, very happy to say, is controlling ICUs in the United States of America. Three
Oh,
hospital
great.
ICUs, yeah, 70, about 250 ICU beds in the US is being controlled by a team of intensivists sitting in Ambattur in Chennai. They're all board certified. They are Indians, but they're board certified intensivists, which means they've got their certification by the American board. So this is the kind of advancement which has already come into India. And in the next 10 to 15 minutes, Dr. Anup and Dr. Satish and the farmer Anup and Ravindra and the audience that we have today, I'll quickly show you how much of cutting edge medicine and digitalization in healthcare we have been able to achieve on a personal level. So, if I can you share the slides? Is it possible? Is there a problem? I'm not
Still, I'm
sure.
not able to download. There is some issue with the.
Yeah, because I this is the third presentation I'm giving this week on StreamYard. It's not letting me present more than twice, so I can't present it from here. Let me see if I can share my screen. I don't know if that's possible.
Yeah, please try.
One second.
Still, I
Can
could
you?
not get it.
No, can you see my screen now?
Yeah, now it is coming from your side
Yeah,
only.
you're
Just
able
wait.
to see my screen. All right, that's good. So this is just a workaround that I'm
Yeah,
going.
yeah.
Okay,
Now it is coming.
you're able to see it. All
Yeah,
right.
I'm
So
adding. Yeah, now
I'm
it is coming. Yeah.
fantastic. So I'm the CEO of Lifeline Group of Multi-Specialty Hospital Chennai. I'm also the CEO of Helia Digital, which is a US-based company, and that's our digital health arm. And this is a bit about me. I'm an MBBS. I'm also a radiologist, but I don't practice anymore. And I have got an MBA from BITS Pilani in healthcare, and I've got more than 25 years of experience at the top of many hospital groups, including Apollo. And I've been speakers in many healthcare transformation. And I do a lot of work in AI, AR, in virtual reality, in robotic process automation to advise many hospitals in India and abroad in all these areas. So I'm very closely working with a few VR virtual reality companies. And very interestingly, to add to what Dr. Satish Gupta said, I'm working on the first, possibly the first metaverse transformation in healthcare. I'll explain later what I'm doing there. So basically, I'll just quickly run through why and what is digital transformation. So I think digital transformation is any positive impact of technology in healthcare can be called as digitalization and the digital transformation of healthcare, and use of digital technologies which radically improve the way we deliver healthcare now, which what I mean by saying that is moving away from just a brick and mortar model to a kind of a hybrid model. And then, of course, data driven healthcare. I don't think doctors should practice anymore the old kind of thing where patient brings the whole file and then doctors spend about 15 minutes going through the records and wasting a lot of time. We should move over to a data driven healthcare system, and I'll explain the next few minutes what I mean by that. So why digital transformation? The main cause, I mean, digitalization in healthcare has been happening, but albeit very slowly. But the pandemic has really shown that the brick and mortar system is not enough. Personally, my hospital doctors and my patients had an issue because when the pandemic hit 2 years back, we were all thinking, how do we make a patient? The patients, some of them emergency, but they were not coming. And my doctors wanted to talk, and that is when I realized that we need a digital platform. We formed a company, this company Helia, we formed it in the US because we have some friends and family there, and we immediately incorporated. We started developing this app about 18 months back, and I'll show you bits and pieces of the app because it's too big to show fully. But it's kind of developing to be a beautiful app. We are launching shortly. We've been funded now, and it's very cutting edge technology we have incorporated into that. And like Dr. Satish said, this will follow the hybrid system. The app follows 70% of our consultations are online, but 30% are offline. And we also assist patients to go for offline healthcare. So some of the types of digital tech that we are dealing with is telemedicine, which is, I believe, the cornerstone of any digital health transformation. So many of the hospitals I advise and many of the doctors I come across, when I say that digital transformation, they immediately think, they say, no, sir, it's too complex. So I tell them always it's not complex at all because it's a vast field. Digital transformation doesn't mean that you have to completely go digital. You can start with a basic telemedicine platform. And nowadays, there are platforms available which are even free of cost, right? Or you have to pay a very small amount. So, especially for countries like India and many countries in Africa, where it largely depends on individual practice and not insurance-driven practice, a telemedicine platform is vital for. I'm not joking when I say this, for the survival of GPs. A large amount of practice in India happens by GPs, and I'm sure that's the same in Africa. So we cannot just talk about digitalization only by large hospitals because they have the money, they have the influence, they have the resources to do it. But what about 80% of the small GP sitting somewhere? We need to help them to transform into digital. That is where the greatest challenge lies to countries like in India and in Africa. And that is where I believe doctors like Dr. Anup and I can make a difference. In fact, we are making certain courses for doctors to bring them on to digital technologies. And I strongly believe telemedicine is the first cornerstone of digital health. And then remote patient monitoring with devices. I'll quickly show you a bit about what we have done in all these areas. AI in healthcare, a very, very huge field and very, very exciting field. And then something very, very cutting edge. Probably as far as I know, we are one of the two companies in the world who are doing this vitals capture by face track. All right, what is telemedicine? Remote delivery of healthcare services. Both Dr. Satish Gupta and Dr. Anup have touched upon this. So I'm not going to go deeply into this, but it helps, when you can talk face to face on a video chat with patients when they're not able to come to the hospital. In fact, when the pandemic hit, we dropped 70% of our business went down. But then when we started using the telemedicine platform, we started in within 6 months. I was able to get more money than before the pandemic, and that answers the question which the pharma Anup raised about how to monetize digital healthcare. Does it make money? Yes, sir, it does. If you do it the right way, you can make money in digital healthcare, because I know I was able to transform it and make more money than before. And then it allows physicians and patients to communicate in real time. It's not like sending a message and waiting for a phone call. You get onto the call, the doctor can see the patient can say, and everything can be done face to face. And one of the points which Dr. Satish said, about time constraints, about going to the doctor, about saving money, that's what I call as on-demand healthcare. Telemedicine allows you to have that. When I'm in the morning, I have some headache, I don't have to go and wait in the waiting room of a busy doctor. I can just book a telemedicine call. In 5 minutes, I have my answers. I have a prescription, and my app allows, like Dr. Anup said, my app will just deliver the medicines at home. And further than my app, if you put it on, it says if you need admission, if you say hospitals around me, at least 5 hospitals which are tied up to us will show up on the app, and you can just make a request, and somebody will call you and take care of it, whether you want an OP or an IP and everything. So this is the way our platform. This is a live thing which I just recorded 2 days back for another speech I had to give. But as you can see, the kind of clarity we've been able to achieve. This is our own native platform which we have built. It's called the Helia app, and you can see the kind of clarity we are able to achieve. And then, very interestingly, we were talking about EHR. Our platform has an excellent EHR facility. All your records can be stored online. Anyone who downloads, you can take a photo of your discharge summary, you can put it. You can take a photo of your scan image and you can put it. And interestingly, Dr. Anup, we have also built in what is called consent-based privacy. For instance, if I travel to Africa and I need to, if I'm on the Helia app and my digital, we call it the health wallet, and the health wallet is on the platform. And if I need to see you, all I have to do is type in your email ID and share a link, and you can see all my digital records for maybe 1 hour or 2 hours. I can choose to give it to you for 2 hours, and as soon as the consultation is over, I can revoke the permission, or automatically after 2 hours, the permission will be revoked. So this is called consent-based privacy, and we have built this because we are completely HIPAA compliant. And very interestingly, you see on the right side, you can see my staff, Raja, he's our GM, and myself. The call is recorded. Every one of our telemedicine calls are recorded, right? So the patient can go back and revisit it in case he doesn't understand something a doctor has not done. And further to the telemedicine call, apart from the recording, you also get a transcript as a PDF document, which can be downloaded for your records. So, and post the consult, you can get a prescription online. So yeah, that's about the telemedicine. I'll quickly run you through a remote patient monitoring. So what it does is IOMT. I think Dr. Anup touched on this briefly. So I will just spend a couple of seconds talking. That's all. So how do? We monitor our patients from home, and like Dr. Anup, we have now started. We have about 500 patients we treat now for diabetes and hypertension, what we call as chronic disease management. So these, what it does is auto capture, and see, our devices are integrated with our app, so nobody has to feed in anything. The moment you put on the BP cuff, I'll show you that. The moment you put on the BP cuff, the reading will come onto the app, and my nurse or doctor sitting in my clinic will immediately know what is the blood pressure, what is the glucose value, and accordingly, from the clinic and the patient at home, however far they are, they adjust or they modify the prescription or they modify the medication. So these are some of the devices we integrated. We have integrated with a company called iHealth. It's a US-based company. devices are manufactured in China, and now we are starting manufacture in India as well. So this is how our app looks, and this is how it comes. The BP can be entered manually also. For sometimes people don't want devices. They say we have own devices. We say no problem. You can just click on it and enter the your thing manually, your BP or your sugar manually, or you can just capture it as soon as you put on the cuff, the BP cuff. This is how the value will come and sit on the app. And as you can see, there's a clear trend line there. And you can see on the top there's a print button. You can just say April or May, or you can say last 6 months, and all your records will come as a PDF. All right, so that's about the app. Quickly, let me run you through a bit of AI we have been doing in app. So what is AI? Basically, the ability of a computer or a software to think like a human, kind of simulate some of human intelligence is called artificial intelligence. And some of the biggest use cases in the world are Google's DeepMind, where they've developed a brilliant system for screening mammograms. And when they did a test in about 1,000 mammograms, they found the top 3 radiologists in the world who are expert in mammograms. They studied 1,000 mammograms, and Google's DeepMind studied 1,000. And the DeepMind was able to be more accurate than the 3 doctors. So going forward, I'm very sorry to say that they clearly said radiology as a field of medicine will cease to exist, because AI will become will become better than them. And many ultrasounds now, we are actually working with one of the biggest hospital chains in India, which is a motherhood chain, to create an artificial intelligence for detecting fetal anomalies. So how are we going to do that? Even beginner sonologists and radiologists, when they start scanning and looking for fetal anomalies, which Dr. Anup will know is not very easy to detect, like cleft lip and cleft palate. This all happens when the baby's in the womb, fetus in the womb of the mother itself. And this software will be able to guide you and say this area looks suspicious, please look into it carefully. So that's the kind of AI which comes, because we are able to feed in thousands of images of anomalies into the AI system. It's a very strong ML engine running behind, and every time it keeps studying a particular pattern, it learns and stores it. And then we have in our Helia app, we have a symptom checker, which says, for instance, you have abdominal pain. It keeps asking where the pain is. Some more questions, some more questions. At the end of the thing, it says it looks like you may have appendicitis. Please talk to a doctor immediately on telemedicine. So this is what it's, bit by bit, our AI is becoming stronger and stronger. Where, of course, please mind you, at the moment, we don't diagnose, we only suggest, because AI is not strong enough to start diagnosing with 100% accuracy, but it's meant to be more of a guide for patients. And if there's an emergency, it starts telling, please talk to them immediately rather than wait for an appointment. So this is the cutting edge technology which we are working on. As you can see, that's my face there. And this works on any normal camera. I'm under NDA not to talk too much about the companies we are associating with, but basically we are associated with a UK based company. And, all you have to do is face the camera. And if you say capture, within 1 minute, it gives you 6 parameters. It gives you your heart rate, it gives you your blood pressure, it gives you your respiratory rate, it gives you a stress level, and your blood and your oxygen saturation. All this can be done by any smartphone with the software, and we are incorporating into the Helia app. And if you ask me how accurate or what regulation has been passed, it's been approved now by the Indian CDSCSO, and it's going to. We have now submitted to FDA. In about 3 months, we are expecting FDA. So we have already started using this for mass screening in India for corporates. 1,000 people in the corporates every morning. They just stand before going inside. They just have to, and it takes all these parameters. We are now incorporating temperature and something called atrial fibrillation risk, which is one of the causes of sudden death. So this is what I have quickly, gentlemen, in the short time that I have, but I hope that I've been able to share an overview of what we've been up to. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Dr. B.Natesh. Your presentation excellent. You are doing wonderful job, and I think we have got only that one question which Dr. Anup has already answered. But good part that I don't know, except me, everybody knowing each other. If we don't know each other, we should share the contact to each other, or we all can work together, something for good for all of us as well as for society, because we all
We're not hearing you. Ravindra, we can't hear you.
Not yet.
No. So, Dr. Anup, we should get in touch
Yeah,
because some of the things we're doing are very similar. So you may be ahead or I may be slightly ahead. We don't know, but it'll be great to kind of share our thoughts and insights there.
Dr.
Yeah,
Natesh,
sure.
wonderful
I think
presentation. Wonderful presentation, Dr. Natesh. You know,
Thank you so much.
very interesting, and you are already doing, very, I would say, advanced things, which is directly going to impact the healthcare industry in a big way. And I'm sure I'm going to connect with you anyway after this call, and I'm sure we're
Wonderful.
going to find out ways to work together.
Happy to hear
Thank
from
you.
you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
yes, yes, and
And
both of
you
you
both
doctors
don't what?
are. Just a
Yeah,
quick
Anup,
word,
sir,
Ravi.
please.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you to both the medical doctors on the panel for taking their precious time and teaching us that doctors are digital savvy, which is very important for pharma to understand. And
Absolutely.
I think that I'd love to interact with you more. And there are so many other doctors who are doing a lot of initiatives in digital. So there needs to be a kind of a platform where each of you can share the views and keep the conversation going. And that is the beauty of digital, is that it enables. So there is an initial resistance to digital, like there is a resistance to everything. But when practitioners like you, who have actually done things at the ground level that benefits both the patients and the physicians, talk about your experience, I think that is the greatest proof of the pudding, as they say. And so I would love to keep in touch with you. Thank you so much, Ravindra. So gracious of you. Thank you, Dr. Satish. That was
Thank you
a
so
wonderful presentation by you. And I think we all look to forward to collaborate and keep this thing going. And Ravindra, I'm taking you up on your offer and booking the next flight to Myanmar.
Wonderful. Thank you, sir.
Yes, yeah, welcome. And I'm very thankful for the taking out your Sunday time for the different. I know you all are very busy people. Myanmar life is not that much busy. What you have, so taking out time on Sunday. Thank you very much for this. My request, and I hope we can do something together. I will make, I think, one WhatsApp group where we can discuss something and we can add something, and it will be a not only viable commercially, it should be that this medical
For
needs
knowledge sharing.
worldwide. Yeah, knowledge sharing, and
much.
like Dr. Natesh say, if we walk in with this objective, how it is going to be better for mankind, and if we can do, money will definitely follow later on. And every if so, that is my request to everybody. And I would like to thank you to Anup, Dr. Natesh, and Dr. Satish for taking out time. Thank you very much. And I think we have
Thank
a
you.
very nice conversation
Thank you.
talk, and it is
Thank you.
available forever on so you can share with your people those could not join today. It is available on
Sure.
YouTube and Facebook, so some other people those could not join, and that is another beauty of digital. You cannot go away with your footprint. It will be there for forever. Thank you for taking
Thank
out
you.
time.
Thank you, sir. Nice
Good
meeting all
night
of you. Thank you.
on behalf of
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you so much. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
thank you very much.
Have a
Thank you.
lovely day. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.